My name's Mr. Drawson.
Welcome to the Activity House. Today we're going to create a geometry activity pack, and I'm going to illustrate how to create a label activity, and we're going to make an activity called Label a Circle. So I'm going to choose my builder icon here, and this activity is going to go into my library. I haven't actually created any label activities in my library yet. This will be the first one. Okay, so we're taken to a screen which gives instructions actually how to build activities, but basically all you need to do to create an activity is to follow down this list and complete each of these tasks to create your activity. So the first thing we're going to do is to create some instructions for the students. So what I want the students to do in this activity is to label parts of the circle. Very simple, label parts of the circle. So I'm going to tell them there. I can change this by color, by center, and press enter to move it down. This is a pretty functional word processor. So the next thing, the background for my activities, I can change by color. So I can have any sort of color I want as my background. If I have a yellow background, for instance, it's a bit bright. I'm going to choose to have a gradient background. In this case, I'm going to choose a pale color on the left here and a pale green on the right here. So there's a gradient from left to right. As you can see, I can go top to bottom, diagonal gradients as well. This would allow me to add a background picture if I wanted to. So I've checked that box off. I now go down to my subject image. The subject image is what I want my students to label. So I have that on a USB drive. So I'm going to find my USB drive here. There's my image. It's my circle image I want children to label. I can size this, obviously move it about, position it where I want to, even rotate it. But that'll do right in the middle there. And so that box is checked. Now I need to add my containers. So add a container. The first container will come on by default, anywhere you like. So I'm going to have that one labeling the center. I'm going to move that around so that it is in a reasonable position. Another container, duplicate. So duplicate that one, and then I move its label line to wherever I want it to label. Add another container and repeat the process until you have all of your labels that you require. So that's all label containers that I want to add, and then I've now finally got to add my label content. So my label content is going to be text, of course. So add, and by default it'll put on this text with the yellow background. I'm going to take the background out altogether by clicking up the top there. My font size, all of these features here. Obviously I could change the color if I wanted to. I'm not going to. I'm going to create my labels. So the first label I'm going to create is center. So I'm going to change the text here to center. Now then, that's my first label. Now I'm going to associate this label with this container, and as you can see, it creates an association line, so that when that label is dragged into that container box, it will be correct. So let's add the labels for all the other containers. So the easy way to do this is this little icon here, create items similar to this one. So I'm going to move my way around here, circumference. There are all my labels. Now I need to associate those labels with the correct container. So So now we've added our labels. We could add an assessment, but in the interest of time I'm not going to do so. I'm going to go straight to settings. I'm going to add the author name, Multi-Touch Interactives, and I'm going to add a description of the activity. Now, the students label parts of a circle, and it's a 7th grade activity, so I'm going to check 7th grade, math and geometry. One more thing I want to do here, just to save it being repetitive, I'm going to swap positions of the scoring items. So every time the activity runs, the labels they'll just swap themselves around. And the final thing to do is to test it. Let's see if it works. There are my instructions. The students are unable to read, although 7th grade I think we should be okay.
Drop the words into the correct boxes to label the parts of a circle.
Let's go. So, a chord,
I like it.
and there we go. The activity is complete. So I'm going to click finished. So the activity works fine. Finally, we need to save it. Let's go save as, label parts of a circle, and go OK. And now we'll exit the activity. And we'll find the activity now in our library under the label. So if we touch it here, gives us a preview, tells us what it's all about, and if we click here, the activity will load and play. So there we go, building a label activity. This will be part of the geometry pack, but we'll also put this on the website as a freebie if you don't want to purchase the entire geometry pack. Thanks for watching.